Hi, Guido Fox here. Welcome by a new seminar. Today I want to give you a wonderful seminar about the word of Jesus, Jesus Christ. I want to tell you about his life, but also the most important, his teachings. Um, we all know about his life and that he was born and that he became enlightened and that he was going to heaven, right? But the specific teachings, what is mentioned in the Thomas Evangelie, the Gospel of Thomas, and it is mentioned in this book of Osho, the mustard seed. I talk with you about the teachings of Jesus, what he was actually saying to the people in his surroundings, his disciples, and the people who came to his talks, to his teachings. And that is something what I missed in my life, in the church visits I had in the past, of course, and also in the schools. We know a little bit about his life, but what he was actually preaching, what was he actually saying, and that makes the case much more interesting, I think. Um, the first thing I have to mention, and that is that Jesus was kind of escaped from his family. He was living until his 14 years old, and then he was going out of his home, and he was traveling around the world. He was going to India, he was going to Egypt, and several other countries to visit spiritual schools. The School of Essenes, that's also a very important name in the spirituality. So he was actually taught by a lot of spiritual teachers to come ultimately when he was 30 years old. He became enlightened until his 33 years old when he gets so much attraction and so much power, and the powers were scared of him. Guys were jealous on him. Females loved him, and he was crucified, right? So what I want to tell here is a couple of things. He was prepared for it. He was prepared to become enlightened. He was making effort to reach higher spiritual stages. And I think that's very important to mention, is that it is not something that overcomes you, the ecstatic feelings in yourself, but it's something you have to put effort in. And also that he was escaped from his family. And that's what you see a lot in spiritual development, and that the guys or women are out of family, and the relationship is actually out of family, is out of society, is out of the rumors of society, the low spiritual vibration level of crowd, the low talks of people in your surroundings. And so all the people who are going into spirituality or going into meditation, they have some periods that they have a very inner drive to become alone, to avoid all the noise of society, all the ego mechanisms who are involved in society with surviving, hierarchy, in the jobs, right? What you do, competition. So they want to get out of there, and the first step is get out of family because society is in family. The family is of course in the society, is imprinted by society, is indoctrinated by society. So the family transfer that kind of low spiritual energy into the child. Yeah? It is not that the family is making you enlightened. I mean, if your father is enlightened, it is very, very special. Then the child also become enlightened because of the energy transmissions there. But that's a very special and special case. But the most important thing here is that you have to escape. Yes, you have to escape from society because the people in your surroundings make you on the same spiritual level as average. You want to grow out of average spiritual levels to go higher and higher. So alone is mostly the path for growth. Otherwise, society is dragging you down in your spiritual level. So you need your own space to create higher spiritual levels and not stay in family and in work colleague dynamics. So that's also what Jesus said. Going astray, you have to go astray. You have to step out the small social circles of your family and your colleague life. So there I want to talk further with you about his sayings. We are discussing several sayings in this book from Osho. He was discovering and did research from the Thomas Gospel, and in that Thomas Gospel there were a lot of sayings, and they teach us how you can raise up your spiritual levels, and if you raise your spiritual levels, you also grow, of course, in happiness. And that's maybe interesting to say to you, how higher you are in your spiritual levels, how more happy you are, how more fulfilled you are, how more you are connected with yourself, how more you are connected with your 7 wonderful, beautiful centers in your body. So ecstaticness and happiness are, of course, 100% linked with each other. So I don't want that you become unhappy. All what I'm saying here in these teachings is that you become extremely happy, extremely at ease, extremely happy with yourself, and also become extremely happy with your surroundings. If you grow in spirituality, then your surroundings become much more beautiful than before. So you see everything from another kind of picture. It's a kind of drugs, right? Or alcohol. Everything becomes beautiful in your surroundings. You can compare that with spiritual growth, spiritual drunkenness, and that's what I also read in those kind of book. You become a kind of drunk. You become spiritual drunk if you're higher in spirituality, and everything is okay and fine in your surroundings. So that is interesting to mention is spiritual drunkenness and higher spiritual levels, and you see the reality from a very much more positive way than before. Before you mentioned the negative points of people, oh, there's a wonderful, of there's a bad tree, the tree is not so nice, the water is cold, and now you enjoy the cold water, you enjoy the ugly tree, and you see that the ugly tree is still a very beautiful tree. And so everything in your surrounding become more enlightened, become more positive, and your reality change there. Um, so Jesus was escaped from his family, escaped from society, came alone, and when you are alone, you find the Holy Grail, because you are totally alone and you come by yourself. And if you are alone, you're also going to reflect on yourself and reflect on your old life. In spirituality, there are two lives. You have your old society life, where you're shaped by society and the school systems and parental conditioning. And you have your second life, that's your second birth, and it starts with the opening of your hydraya. So that's the right point, 2 centimeters from your chest. That's the first spiritual awakening point in your spiritual mastery experience. So opening the holy line, opening the chakra line, opening the Amrita Nadi line. That is a very interesting line you can opening up. And the first opening is your Hidrada, and then your new birth is starting. You have a new birth, you can rebirth. And Jesus was also talking about that you can rebirth, you can renew yourself. You found a new energy source in your body, and that gives you so much pleasure, that gives you so much energy, and that is also an attracting force, a magnetic force, where Krishna also talked about, Jesus were talking about that, Osho were talking about that. You become a magnetic force if you hold that line. If you can hold that line all day long with all the activities you do, contemplation, right? Then you become a magnetic force, you become ecstatic, you become so happy, and that is where you all have to go, right? But you have to escape first from family and from society patterns to grow. And the most people, 99% of the people don't grow in their lives. They have to go back, reincarnation, and start over and over again. But we are not going to do that, right? We are here to learn and to grow. So you can grow, you can change, inner transformation, right? So the deepest form of transformation is chakra activation and ego dissolving. So that is our two ways to go for spiritual growth: ego dissolving and chakra activations. That is the deepest form of personal transformation. So Jesus were teaching us the deepest form of personal development, of personal transformation. Religion is nothing else than personal development. That's very interesting. Religion is freedom. Religion is joy. Religion is personal development, and religion is grow. Grow in your line, is grow in your happiness for the outside, and for the inside world. So Jesus were traveling around from his 14 to his 30 years old, so 16 years, right? He was 16 years. He was in schools. He was 16 years in personal development before he became enlightened, and he came back to Judea, to Israel, and to preach his teachings further until the guys became jealous, right? Jealous on his happiness, jealous on his attraction, scared of his rising power, and then the crucifixion were coming, right? Nowadays, the church are preaching guilt, sin, in all the ways. Sexuality and open relationships are not done. But for sure, I know Jesus were talking about free love and free touchings. He was a rebel. He was not of the crowd, absolutely not. He was out of the crowd, and he had a select group of disciples. You saw it also by Socrates. You saw it also by Osho. The people who are very high in their consciousness, they not linked anymore with the crowd, also not linked on intellectual level to people who are living their normal lives. So that's a short background information. So Jesus is freedom, and Jesus is joy, and Jesus were telling also, watch to the water lilies, the water plants. Just watch to the water plants. That's enough, right? Just enjoy the moment. Just enjoy the activity you are doing. That is enough in your life. So enjoy what you are doing. Enjoy with fully 100% what you are doing in your life. And that's also a very important lesson of Jesus. So put spirituality into your activity. Be centered. Be in your line. Be in your chakra activations. Then you really enjoy the activity what you are doing. But first, alone is the path. You have to step out the crowd, about the neurosis of the crowd, the hectical crowd, the talks about bullshit crowd. So you have to step out and come alone, and then you can really reflect on yourself first. So we had a great and long training. He was prepared for it. Jesus were prepared for his enlightenment. He was trained for it. And that is something what is difficult to understand for Christians or other believers. They think he was chosen, and it happens in once that he became enlightened and he opened his chakras, his ecstatic chakras. No way. He was really trained for it. He did a lot of meditation for it on the mountain, right? But he was really working hard for his enlightenment. I know it for sure. He was so working hard. Jesus was so working hard for his enlightenment. A very hard working guy who already know at a young age that was the path in life. The path of life is in ultimate format. It is love. It is love for yourself first, and then you can share love with others. So love and peace are the most important things in life. If you look at Maslow pyramid, then you see that it is first family, and then children, and then some house against the rain and the cold, and food, sex, and then you rise up to society. You want to do something for the society back because you grow up in a society and there's a need to do something back for the society. So You make your garden nice for the neighborhood, or you do something for the neighborhood, and then you do something for the parliament. And in ultimate forma, you are interesting into spiritual growth. So enlightenment and self-transcendence, if you look at the Maslow pyramid, is the most highest. So Jesus were know already, okay, that is something I have to work on, and that is something very special. If you know as a young guy that that is your path in life. At such a young age. So I want to discuss with you several very important sayings of Jesus of the Gospel of Thomas. I think that is very interesting to do, and also I say to you what he was saying, why he was saying this, and what is the deeper sentence of this saying. The first saying: the disciples said to Jesus, "Tell us what the kingdom of heaven is like." He said to them, "It is like a mustard seed, smaller than all seeds. But when it falls until the earth, it produces a large tree and becomes shelter for all the birds of heaven." I hope you can understand it very well. But he was saying actually that it is like a mustard seed. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed. And the mustard seed is nothing else than the opening of the small spot right on your chest is the hydraya. So if you want to become super consciousness, you want to be supernatural, above society, above family conditioning, and you want to grow out, you want to grow in your spiritual levels, then the mustard seed, the opening of the Hidrada, and I feel it. It's so ecstatic, it's so wonderful, it is so nice, it is so peace center in my body. I felt it 3-4 years ago already, but my tree is growing inside. So the mustard seed is smaller than all seeds. It's very small. It's a pinpoint. It's a very pinpoint in your body. It's very small spot, but very delicious spot. It's very ecstatic spot. So that's the first opening in your spiritual awakening. In your spiritual transformation is the opening of the Hidrada. And I don't want to tell you here all the spiritual esotery, all the lines what you can open, all the chakra activations. I want to stay here by the teachings of Jesus. And he say here, it produces a large tree in yourself and it becomes a shelter for all the birds of heaven. Ultimate, the tree in yourself become larger and larger and larger. So you become more and more ecstatic inside until your hand palms, your third eye chakra, your crown chakra, your 3 hearts on a row. So all your chakra activations become active, become ecstatic. So you become totally ecstatic. You become a large tree where all the birds of heaven are into it. So that's what Jesus was saying here. Jesus was saying that you can grow in yourself. You can opening up in yourself. You can open that line in yourself. So that was his first saying. And maybe that was also his most important saying, is that you can opening up. You can opening up. It is possible. I was very skeptical. Is it true? You can opening up? Is there something? Oh, well, let's try it, right? Let's meditate on Mahidrada. Let's meditate there. Let's see what's happening there. And came and came and came, and it grow and grow all several years. So there is something. There is real religion. So chakra activation is religion, is personal development, is personal growth, is personal transformation. So religion is personal transformation. That's important to understand. Religion is freedom. Religion is not condemning. It's not strict rules. Religion is freedom. Religion is spiritual growth. I want to go with you to the second saying. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to tell you the depth of the teachings of Jesus, and nobody understands him. Only a very few. Socrates had only 3 followers or something. Only a very few can understand me, can feel me. You have to be very sensitive. Jesus said, "Men possible think that I have come to throw peace upon the world. And they don't know that I have come to throw divisions upon the earth, fire, sword, and war. I'm not coming to give you peace, guys. Not yet, not yet, no. First, fire, sword, and war. I have to wake you up." Jesus was saying, I have to wake you up. I have to fire you on. I have to make you chaotic. To create a new birth in you. To create a new rebirth in you. So he said, I have to wake you up. I have to shout to you. I have to bring the fire on you. The sword and the war. And the fire is the inner flame, of course. I have to put the inner flame of the Hidraya opening to you. Then the sword. Sword is the vision. I bring sword to you. Or you choose for the earth. You choose for ego. You choose for miserable life. Or you choose for heaven. It's about you, right? The most people are living a shitty life. Anxiety, depressions, anti-love relationships, horrible jobs, they don't like it. Fat, people are fat, not happy with their body, no self-love. So you can choose, right? You want to go to heaven with Jesus, then you choose life. Or you choose death. You're living a dead life. Or you're living a life. The most people living a sleeping, dead life. Following society patterns, our slave conditioning, they are not alive. So I have to put a sword on you. I have to put a sword on you. Are you going with me? Are you going with Jesus? Or you're staying the same? The same person for years and years and years until you're dead and you don't change. So he brings fire, he brings sword, and he brings war. And this is what the church, of course, don't want to have in their books. This guy, the Son of God, we're teaching fire, sword, and war. He's saying that you have to step out your umbrella of family pressures, of society pressures. Was he saying that? No. That's not good for the paradigm. So first fire, sword and war, then love. A new birth is always related to chaos. You have to have some chaos in your life. Then a new world is coming. Then a new world of heaven is coming. So he was there to throw divisions upon you. I have to make you awake. I have to make you aware in what kind of misery you live. And I have to break down all your conditionings. I have to break down all your fixed thinking patterns. If I don't do that, you stay programmed. You stay too rational. You stay unnatural. You stay not who you really are. You're a product. You're a robot. You're not your real self. You don't know what is your real self. So I have to make you awake. I have to make you real natural. Civilization makes you not a natural person. For there shall be 5 in the house, 3 shall be against 2, and 2 against 3. Here it's I think what he was saying here, the 2 against the 3 and the 3 against the 3 is, where put my energy on? My mental energy, or it's going to my head, to my third eye chakra, my crown chakra, or my 3 hearts on a row. So I think Jesus was saying here, it's actually very difficult to hold my mind by the 7 centers. I hold my mind by the 7 centers. Difficult. There's always a fight between the chakras. Which chakras gets more attention than the other chakras? And in ultimate forma is that you can hold all the chakras in yourself with the same energy. And then they're divided nicely, right? You give all your 7 centers love. Love on the same way. Love on the same way. The Father against the Son, and the Son against the Father, and they will stand as solitaries. That is the escaping from family patterns who disturb your personal growth. So you have to come out of family patterns and also away from your father to be alone, to be solitude, to be yourself, because your parents has influence on you and it's not always good. You have to become a real person. You have to become zelfstandig, self-sufficient. You have to become alone before you can grow. If constantly your family is caring for you, also financial, then you don't grow. Then you stay the same and the same and the same person all your life. So you can change only outside that umbrella, like Jesus, Osho, and Buddha. You can only grow on the path alone, with support of other spiritual guys. I will give you what the eye has not seen, and what the ear has not heard, and what the hand has not touched, and what has not yet arisen in the heart of man. So I give you the spiritual energy, the spiritual chakra energy, what of course the eye cannot see, the hand cannot feel, but only your energy system can feel the chakra activations. So only that you can feel, only that you can see. That's another dimension. That's what Jesus was saying here. It's another dimension. The chakra activations is a dimension of peace, is centered, is the ultimate self-knowledge, is enlightenment, is flame, and absolutely no darkness anymore. And that's also what Buddha was saying. There's no darkness anymore. There's no depression anymore. There's no anxiety anymore. There's no tension anymore. So enlightenment is not darkness. It's not stress. It's no burnouts. So no darkness anymore. No darkness anymore. That's what Jesus was saying here. I give you light. What you can feel. If you are sensitive enough, you can feel. That's what Jesus was saying here in his second saying. So much knowledge, right? So less words, but so much knowledge. So how higher in your spirituality, how more clearness, how more information density. How more information density in your talks. There's also an interesting fact. The third saying: I took my stand in the midst of the world, and in flesh I appeared to them. I found them all drunk. So he was going to marketplaces like Socrates and Osho and Buddha and walked around, and he said everyone is asleep. Everyone is not awake yet. I found none of them athirst. Nobody was thirsty enough to go into meditation, right? So how more you found your hidrada, how more you're opening up your lines, how more you want to meditate. I don't want to teach so much anymore with videos. I like to teach in real life, of course, in coaching. But in my energy system, there was something wrong 6 months ago, and I knew what it was. I have to meditate more, so I was going to 2 hours more, 2 hours plus. So how more ecstatic you become, how more you want to meditate, how more and more you want to meditate and discover. So what I want to say here, you become more and more athirst. But you have to have the slip of the tongue, right? You have to taste something. You have to taste something from the hidrada, and it's flickering on the stars. And if you are feeling the small spot, you want to become more and more ecstatic. So you have to taste something, a small slip from the Coca-Cola, right? You have to start with a small Coca-Cola, and then you want more, right? But it's the good one, it's the healthy one. The spiritual energy is the healthy one. It's the healthy form of the Coca-Cola. So you want to do first some taste, and then you become athirst. But most people are doing 10 minutes meditation and they stop, right? They're not making hours and hours. So they are very drunk. They see them drunk. They're asleep. The people are asleep. When they shaken off their wine, then they will repent. So no addiction from the outside world, he was saying here. So people are addicted to the outside world. What's happening there? What's happening in the outside world? All those roddles, all those rumors of other people. People are always thinking about the outside world, but it's very rare if someone is going inside and feel what's going on there, and that you can change inside. So, and it's also kind of society programming there that the news, right? Always outside, there are wars and hunger wars. And you are addicted in a kind of way of drama and addicted to the outside world. But there is no teachings in schools about what's going on internally in yourself. And that's where all the rubbish of the world is coming from. There are no teachings in meditation or spiritual growth in schools. It's always about the outside world, So you're also kind of programmed there, and not programmed on the inner world. You're prepared to work for society, for the great businesses here in the world. So you're prepared for work for the society. But it's better to work first on yourself and then share. Then share your love to society. That's a better processing of your life. If the flesh has come into existence because of the Spirit, it's a marvel. But if the Spirit has come into existence because of the body, it's a marvel of marvels. So first the flesh, the empty body, reaches the Hydrada opening, and then if the Spirit has come into existence because of the body, because of the thinking of the body. So Jesus, we're talking here about the thinking of the body. So the mind is going inside. So the mind is going inside. That is what he was talking here about. So that is a marvel of marvels. It's a wonder. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that you can go from your mind, your body, into your body. That's a miracle, right? So that's what he was saying here. Marvel of marvels. But a marvel at marvel's wonder, by the way. Marvel at how this great wealth has made his home in this poverty. So your body was first poverty, and that's the misunderstood in church and religion, is the body is nothing, your mind is all, God is all, and your body is rubbish. You don't have to train, you have to don't care of your body, your body is nothing. No. Your body was first poverty and can grow into a higher state. So it is a fundament. So Jesus was saying here, your body is a fundament. Your body is a fundament for growth. And it was first poverty. It was first an empty body. But it is useful. Your body is useful. So you can use it for higher spiritual goals. That is what he was saying here. They are empty. They have come into the world empty, and they leave the world empty. So 99% of the people are leaving this world empty. They never felt the taste of existence. They never felt the taste of chakra activations. So they come empty and they leave empty. They live a miserable life. And they don't know that you can live in more ecstaticness. And if you don't know it, you deal with it, right? I didn't know that you can talk with girls on the street and bring them home for love. All those years I was thinking, okay, this is it, right? And it's my sexual life. So sometimes you don't know what is possible in your life, in your touching's life, what you don't know. So you need coaches, you need messengers who make you aware of the possibility of growing higher in your spirituality. So that's the third saying. So godliness is another type of drunk. So you're going from drunk to drunk. First the empty drunk, the escape drunk, the unaware drunk, to a higher spiritual drunkenness. So also drunkenness have different spiritual stages. So you go from drunk to drunk. So that's funny, right? So repent, repent. Jesus said, repent, repent. So go back to your line, go back to your line and find yourself. Repent. The fourth saying, page 57. And I'm still there. I'm still in my line. I'm still by the ecstatic chakras. I'm still there. I'm still there by it. Years of trainings, of meditation trainings. Take no thought from the morning until the evening, and from the evening until the morning, for what you shall put on. Don't think which kind of mask you have to wear in your small social dynamics. Be real. Be the same. So, people can be very different if they are in office or they going 5 minutes later with a party with girlfriends in a club. So you see completely a different person. And that's what Jesus was hate. He hate the hypocrisy, the fake mask of people, the formality. One time they're so formal, the other time they're informal, they're dancing in the club half naked, and 5 minutes, therefore they were a brave women in, or a man in the office. And that's what I saw also in my life. That people are changing their masks all the time. And that's ego. That's your ego protecting shelter. Protecting for the outside world, protecting your real self, not showing your real self. So be real. Be natural. Don't be someone else constantly all the time to hide yourself. That is what Jesus was saying here. No thoughts, not thinking about what kind of person I want to be now. When you take off your clothes without being ashamed, so no shame. Take off your clothes means take off your mask. No shame. And take your clothes and put them under your feet. Don't be so formal, man. Don't be so conditioned. As the little children and treat on them. Then shall you behold the Son of the Living One, and you shall not fear. So then there is no fear. Then there is no fear when you put off your mask. When you put off all your mask, your social construct mask, put it off, then there is no fear. Then there is no shame. Then you become natural, and then you become out of thinking. Thinking, what should they find about me? What they think about me? That's ego, right? What they think about me, what kind of clothes I have to wear. So many faces. I want that you find your animal in yourself. Not hide anything. Be real. Be naked. No divisions in your body anymore. Acceptance of your body. Accept your body in its totally. Accept your body in its full totally. No divisions. No hiding. No fake. No fakeness, but nakedness. No fakedness, but nakedness. Be real. That's the saying here of Jesus. Be a real person. Find your real self. Find your real self. The sixth saying. Page 91. Page 91. The kingdom is like a shepherd who had 100 sheep. One of them went astray, which was the largest. He left behind the 99. He sought for the one until he found it. Having tired himself out, he said to the sheep, I love thee more than the 99. Goodness is a luxury. So what he was saying here, escape from the crowd. Escape from crowd conditioning. Because the crowd is operating on spiritual levels between 0 and 200. You have to step out the crowd to go higher and higher in your spiritual levels. Otherwise you're staying there in your shitty life. So Jesus was saying here, step out of the sheep crowd. Then you come alone, and in aloneness you can grow. And this, if you want to rebirth in your life, if you really want to go to the spiritual path, you have to step out of destructive mechanisms. And that's all the point I want to make to you. You have to do what you want to do in your life. If you feel good by some person, stay there. If you don't feel good by persons, go away. That's my whole point. You have to have the power to say no to people who are toxic and destructive to you. So that's all my point here, to step out of destructiveness. So if people or energies are not good for you, stay out of there and go away. Don't stay by toxic persons. Don't stay by destructive persons, right? So that's what Jesus here also was saying, I think, is step out of destructiveness, mental destructiveness. Because then your energy were going away. Your energy is going down. And if I talk about energy is going down, my energy is going down because there is not a lot of air in my room, because there is some rumor outside with construction workers. So your energy is going down if there's no air in the room, but your energy is also going down if you're staying by people who are not good for you. And you become as the 5 people in your surroundings. Right? So therefore people who are hiring me as a coach they are going higher and higher. Hey, this guy is constructive. Here in the middle of all the constructive workers. he's becoming constructive. So I grow by him. I'm growing by Guido Fawkes. I'm growing by Guido Fawkes. So I get coaching by him. So you become the 5 persons in your surroundings. If the 5 persons are all shouting, yelling, destructive, anxious, depressions, not happy with themselves, complaining about every stuff, they're always hanging on social media every time and they're addicted to it, then you don't grow. So you only grow with constructive people in your surroundings. So that's, I think, the point in the 6th saying of Jesus is going away from people who you don't like anymore, who you don't want to invest anymore. Your life is worthful. Your life is worthful, and it is very, very important with who you go. Think about with who you go, is it constructive or not, and say goodbye to friends, and other friends will coming there. So don't be afraid to fall in a gap in your life. If you say goodbye to people, then, oh, I don't have friends anymore in the future, I will stay alone forever. Or after your relationship, right? Oh no, nobody wants me. Nobody wants me in a relationship. I stay alone all the time. I cannot find anyone better than before or on the same level. We're all in fear, right? To fear to say goodbye to people. But if the people are destructive, if your relationship is destructive, and you cannot do anything, you cannot work with someone, say goodbye. And you create gaps for new life, new persons, and new people in your life. So that's also a teaching here of Jesus. Step out of destructive conditionings in your life. The eighth saying of Jesus, of the Gospel of Thomas: when you make the two one, is make the 2 chakras on the side to one deep Christ consciousness. I can focus on the two chakras on the sides and make them one, and put it out, put the Christ consciousness out. So that's what Jesus were talking here about. Make the two one is make the 2 side chakras into the one in the middle. So you can focus with your mind. If you are higher and higher in spirituality, you can push they call it also the Christ consciousness out of your inner middle chakra. Woof, you put it out, make the 2 one, that's what Jesus was saying here, make the 2 chakras one. When you make the inner as the outer and the outer as the inner become the outer. Your inner reality becomes your outer reality. The inner as the outer as the inner. So your inner reality become the outer reality. How more you're ecstatic in yourself, how more the environment become also ecstatic. So your reality is false. You're living in a false reality. You're not living in the peace and love and the flourishing, the flowering reality. You are not living in deeply gratitude, in compassion, into at ease. Your reality is still divided. Your reality is still fearful. So there are different dimensions of peace, different dimensions of reality. I really swear about it. I really swear I experience other dimensions of your surroundings. You see, if someone is smiling, I'm smiling so hard back. Only because I see someone smiling makes me all so incredible happy. So there are different dimensions in reality. I swear, and I'm not crazy. I have 3 university titles, a PhD in my pocket in a very young age. I'm not crazy. No, I'm not crazy. Absolutely not. I'm very sharp, clear, and very intelligent. There are different dimensions of reality, and you can discover it through. So Jesus were saying here the inner as the outer, make the two one, bath, make the Christ consciousness awake. And the above as the below. So the above as the below. The heaven come on earth. The heaven come on earth. The heaven come on earth. And the earth comes on heaven. The heaven can be reached here and now, and not only in the future, right? Religion is always the old teachings from, oh yeah, right, do your great job here on earth, follow slave conditioning, follow society conditioning, and then you become in heaven. Great job, great job. Don't steal things, and you come in heaven later. Great job. Listen to the priest. Great job, and you come in heaven. No, heaven can be reached now. It's not future. It's not a kind of candy they hang for you, right? Oh, if you're doing a great job there are 40 virgins. There are 40 virgins in heaven. No. You can have 40 virgins here on earth, right? It's here already possible. 40 virgins on earth. 40 ecstatic virgins on earth. So focus on the here and now, focus here, heaven can be reached here, right? Make the male and the female into a single one. That's a very important lesson of Jesus, is that you can be male and female in one. What he was saying here is that you can reach the same qualities as a female and a male in one. So you have to work on your female qualities and also on your male qualities. That's what I see in dating and in personal development, is that men are working only on their male skills, but they forget their female skills, their caringness, their protectingness, their seeing what's going on with her. So work on two things, the male and the female. Work on both qualities, then you become whole. Then you will be enter the kingdom. What Jesus was saying here. So you will enter the kingdom if you are whole, if you have both qualities. If you can be compassionate. If you can feel what's going on in the women or in the man. So you want to reach equal levels of energies. If you go deeper in this territory, you want to become balanced. An enlightened person is optimal balanced between male and female. As an optimal balanced person. That is what Jesus was saying here. So it's all with equalness, right? The inner as the outer, the above as the below, the male and the female in equal proportions in your energetic system. So, very interesting teachings from someone who was living 2000 years ago. The 14th saying: Blessed is the man who has suffered, he has found life. He has found life. So those the one who suffered the most reach the kingdom of heaven. And that's an interesting teaching, right? Because when you're very, very unhappy, then you're going to a happiness coach, right? Then you're going to search for happiness. If you're very bad with women, you're going to a dating coach because you want to learn. So you want to become better and better if you're very bad in something. So if you suffered so much, I suffered so much in my life, physical and mentally. I suffered and suffered and suffered, and I was thinking, I want to become happy as hell. That was my first thought. I want to become so happy. I am so unhappy with my love life, unhappy with my work life. How I become as happy as hell. And then you're going to search. So you have to suffer a lot to find life, to find ecstatic life. So those the one who suffered the most reach the kingdom of heaven. And it's not that you're going to hit yourself to suffer. No way. That's not the big point here. The big point is that you're going into spirituality. You go into spirituality if you suffered so much. Then you go into spirituality and going into more higher spiritual stages of ecstaticness, of higher growth. So that's what he was saying here into the 14 sayings is from, okay, those the one who suffered the most are coming by me, are coming close by me and learn from me. So people who are coming here are suffered. They suffered so much. They suffered so much in their life. And then they come to me. And suffering makes you aware, right? Suffering makes you aware. Be blessed that you suffered so much in your life. Be blessed for that. Preach it. Be blessed for your suffering. And that makes you aware. So suffering is also makes you aware because you're sharp. You're sharp by your suffering. You're sharp by your pain. So you're with your mind by your pain. Right? It's a very concentrated exercise. Can you say that a little bit, right? So you're there with your mind by your pain. That's the first step of spiritual growth, is feeling your pain. Being aware of your pain. Being aware where the pain is. Mentally or physical, you be aware of the pain. That's the first stage of awareness. 249, the 15 sayings. The 50 sayings. Yeah, it can be a little bit arrogance of Jesus, but he was saying here, I am the light, it's above than all, I am the all, and the all came from me, and the all attained to me. What I learned from this is you attract what you manifest. So if you're shiny, you're open, your chakra activations are flourishing, are flowering, then you attract also happiness to you. You attract what you manifest, and that is real. That is really real. Karma is a bitch, right? So if you have a good karma, if you're good for your karma, you will attract also people who have good karmas, and then you will be happy as hell. Cleave a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift up the stone, and you will find me there. What he was saying here actually is that you can abide the energy of Jesus Christ. You can abide spirituality, but you have to find it. So you have to take more time with me or with another spiritual guide to discover his energy. It costs time to adapt. It costs time to adapt my energy. It is time consuming, but it delivers also a lot of things for back, of course. So the time it's invested worth, but it costs time. You have to go into the wood and remove the wood and under the stone I am. Under the stone there is Osho, there is Buddha, and there is Jesus, but you have to find it. You have to stand open for it, and you have to do a little bit your best to come by me, and you have to be very brave, and also it can be very confronted to be by me, but you have to be brave, and you have to be completely open, right? So that costs also some discipline and effort to come by that kind of persons with higher spiritual levels, right? It can be confronting because I see so much, but that's what Jesus here was saying. You have to do your best to come by me. It is not for free. It's a discovery. The personality of Jesus was uncontrollable, was kind of mysterious. So you have to do your best, right, to come by that kind of persons closed. Now he was trained, right? There's another story in Egypt. I talked about that. He was also reading the teachings of Buddha, the Vedas, the Upanishads. I make their book reports from. So he was interested into spirituality, and he was trained, and he became a magnetic force. I am the Alpha and the Omega. He was female and male in one. He was the Alpha and the Omega. He had Alpha state and Omega state. So the highest states in power also. We talk about the Alpha male, but the biggest Alpha male was Jesus, because he had so big energy field around him. He was so unbelievable Alpha. But a lot of people are blind, right? They have bulk on their eyes. That's also what Jesus was saying. They're so blind, people. People are blind. They cannot feel, and they cannot feel the alphaness of a kind of person. So he was the Alpha and the Omega. And because of that, people are unaware and people are blind. You can't forgive them. And the most important sentence is what he was saying when he was crucified. Can you imagine? He was crucified, but he was so ecstatic laden. So he was crucified. I know for sure it's painful, but he was so happy. Maybe he was smiling also. Can be. But he was forgive the guards, the soldiers who were hanging them up. And he was so filled with love. So he was saying here, God, forgive them. Forgive them because they don't know what they are doing. Forgive them because they don't know what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing, right? They don't know what they are doing. They're so unaware. They're so unconsciousness. So the soldiers didn't know what they are doing, right? They follow a machine. They were robots. They were not thinking about themselves. Why we should hang up this peaceful young guy who were preaching love and peace. Why we should crucify them? No, they were machines. Soldiers are robots. Soldiers are machines. They listen to the system. They listen to the generals. They don't think for themselves. So that was going on here. So he can forgive. Don't punish them because they're ignorant. And that's the greatest miracle of the crucifixions. The whole body is suffering and he's dying, but he's still filled with love. He's still filled with love. Anger is for the crowd. Love is for the chosen few. So he cannot be angry. If someone slapped the face, I do this, right? It's okay. It's okay. That's what telling, right? Slap in one face, I do this. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay. No anger. No revenge. Anger and revenge are for the crowd, not for the chosen few. No angriness. No revenge. You can choose, right? What are you doing, soldiers? Are you crazy? Why you crucified me? Why are you doing this? Are you mad? That's so ordinary. That is so human. He was not human, he was superhuman. So then your reaction becomes also different. I cannot be jealous anymore. I cannot be anger anymore. I cannot have revenge anymore. I cannot be jealous anymore. That's from the ordinary world. That's for the simple world, from the crowd. No, I cannot do that anymore. I'm not jealous anymore. I don't live in fear anymore. I don't live in anger anymore. I don't live in shame anymore. I wear only one mask, and it's the connectedness with my spiritual line. That is my mask. There's no other mask there. Whosoever is near to me is near to the fire, the 16 sayings. And whosoever is far from me is far from the kingdom. So when you are close by me, when you are close by Jesus, you are close by the fire. You are close by the ultimate fire, the ultimate ecstatic fire. Come to me, for easy is my yoke and my lordship is gentle. I am very gentle to you. I am very gentle and peaceful for you. Don't worry. Whosoever drink from my mouth, whosoever drink from my energy, shall become as I am, and I myself will become He, and the hidden things shall be revealed to Him. The hidden things are the spiritual line, what you cannot see. That's the hidden thing. The hidden thing shall be revealed to Him. You shall become as I am. You become as I am. You become the line too. So your ego will be dissolved. There is no ego anymore. If you reach the self, if you reach the line, there are no ego anymore. There's no suffering anymore. There's no suffering anymore. No ego, no suffering. You become a non-ego identity. So you become a non-ego identity. You are not be the social construct what you was. You become the non-ego identity. That's important, right? You become another identity form. Your form changed. Your identity changed. You're not your carrier. You're not your face. You're not your educated background. You're not your family name. You're not because you're so good in football that you're a football player. You're not society construct anymore. You are non-ego identity. You become an other identity if you're opening up. The 17th saying. Blessed are the solitary and elect, for you shall find the kingdom, and because you come from it, you shall go there again. So you come from the kingdom, and you can reach it again when you're solitary and elect, the chosen ones. Only the chosen ones who reaches all stages of life, all sufferings, all discoverings, readings, love, all those phases you have to go through. And the ultimate phase is the existence phase. You come from the kingdom, society puts you out of kingdom, and I bring you back to the kingdom. That's what Jesus here was saying. What is the light in you? What is that? What's the light in you? Jesus, one of his disciples, were saying that. What is the light in you? What is that? It's paradoxical. Spirituality is paradoxical. It's a movement and a rest. So your chakra activations are a movement through the chakras, and is also a rest. I live in the society and I am out of society. I move through society, but I am out of small social circles. Of course, I have some groups where I feel comfortable with, but I am mostly all the time, nearly all the time, out of small social circles. So spirituality is a movement and a rest. It's a peaceful line, but it's also a movement to your body. It's a chakra movement. So you are not part of the world anymore, right? You are no member of a society, member of a family, member of a culture. You are giving up everything. You give up everything, all your society, ego construct, to go to non-ego identity. There's no need to be needed anymore. The most people are doing something they want to be needed. I have to be there because they need me. I have to go to work by the hospital because they need me. If I am not there, what then? That's ego, right? There's no need to be needed. The only need is caring for yourself. Is caring for your self-love. Is caring for your meditativeness. Is caring for your nakedness. So there's no need to be needed anymore. You don't have to be needed. No one needs you. My love can find also someone else. But I have self-confidence. It's a plus, a relationship. It's a plus that you can have love in your life. But she can find someone else. The soul finds you, will be good. I am not the only one. But it's okay, right? To be together and enjoy our times. But needed to be needed. No. The only need is to care for yourself first. And then you can share love from an overflowing river, an overflowing waterfall. No need to be needed. No need to be needed. A circle, right? The circle of samsara. You born out of the kingdom, and the best is if you come back to the kingdom. So he was teachers by the school of Asenes. Is the oldest secret societies in Egypt. To make a rebirth in your life. The 18 sayings, 3 or 5. Sayings. See, I shall lead her so that I will make her meal, that she too may become a living spirit, resembling your meals. For every woman who makes herself meal will enter the kingdom. So he was making males of females in the time that females were actually females, right? We're now living in a time where females are sometimes have more male energy than males. So he was making females of males of females, because then they become more balanced. So make from the female more female, and I'm making from females more females and also more males, because they forgot their female core, because they're in a male adapted to a male society construct, right? We are still patriarchy. So working in offices makes women more male, because there's competition, there's hierarchy, there's revenge mechanisms, etc. So I'm making from males more females, and from males also more males. So I combine those kind of things, because we are living now in a period very unnatural, whereby the sexual and the spiritual energy are completely distorted and unbalanced. So this was all the sayings, of the Thomas Gospel of Jesus. All the sayings here, and I want to go with you a little bit more also about this book, and Osho wrote it, and it's a book about Jesus, Son of God or mystic. And there are 3 points I want to discuss with you. What is very interesting for deeper grow, and that's what I have to tell to you is the mad crowd. Douglas Murray was writing about it. Be aware that the crowd is mad. Mobs have always been neurotic. So that's what you see since the start of human evolution. There are always wars. There are always fights. So that comes back, and it comes back because the crowd is neurotic. So if you adjust to the mob, it feels good, right? If you're in a festival or something, it's good to be there, right? Because everyone is crazy. So it's easy to go into crowd conditionings to step out, because the crowd always wants to get you back. So if you're going into meditation, people are saying, "Oh, you meditate so much, and are you okay with yourself?" And if you're going more alone in your life, that, "Oh, you're alone. Are you not social anymore, or are you a person Einzelganger? Why are you so alone?" And why? So what you see is that society always wants to put you down in misery, in depressions, and in anxiety and complaining mechanisms. So be aware of that mechanisms, right? So if you're going higher into your spiritual levels, there are always people in your surroundings, the no-sayers. You said it also in personal development, who wants to drag you down to normal standard conditioning. So it can feel good to be in the social neurosis of crowd, but the most point here is that you have to step out and really going higher and higher to become more happier with yourself. Page 156 is what he was saying here is that it is really it's arduous effort. It's arduous effort to go into spirituality, to stay there, and to hold the line. and to meditate fanatic way of meditation is arduous effort. It's not for everyone. It's a pity, but it's actually for 99% of the people, it's not really good. They have not a discipline to do it. So spiritual mastery is only for the chosen few. It's only for a very small, thin group of people who wants to grow higher. So it's arduous effort. And there's also an interesting lesson from Osho, based on the material of Jesus. And he was saying here, once a being has become enlightened, he is available forever. So when you become enlightened, you're so open, you're so relaxed, you're smiling around you. So you're a very open personality, so you're available. People can come to you. You're open, you have no shame, no fear, and you have no hiding mechanisms in your system. You're not hiding anymore. You're flourishing. You're flowering. You have no fear of shining, anymore. And that's also what happens. A lot of people, they're afraid for shining to the outside world. They hide themselves. Well, I'm not here. Nobody wants to see me. So you become more shiny, open, and more receptive, more available for the world, and more sensitive and receptive, right? So I want to thank you for watching my extended teachings about the lessons of Jesus Christ. First he was Jesus, and then he became Christ, his rebirth. So if Krishna, also Christ, Krishna was the same. So if you mentioned your rebirth, you become a Christ. Another learnable thing, right? So thank you for watching. It was a pleasure to make this extended video, extended seminar about the teachings of Jesus and what he actually was saying, and what was forgotten to adapt in the Bible, of course, because if you're saying going astray, the church will become empty. Go alone, the church will become empty, right? That's not what the church wants. They want to have a big group of sheep followers. That's what Jesus was saying in all his sayings in the forgotten Thomas Evangelii, Gospel, and also what Osho was saying about the teachings of Jesus. I want to give you a wonderful, pleasurable day, and thank you for watching, and I hope that I see you by the next video. Hi.